Recording is going. Oh. God, I freaking love the Kirby theme. Hi. My brain's not really working, so I'm just going to talk this out as well as I can. Welcome. I guess intro to a YouTube video in a way. Welcome to the first official stream slash dev journal diary thing for a project that I'm still working on the name for. Lots of things that are nameless and yet I still want to get started. Best way to, I guess, properly start is introduce myself. Hi, I'm Dave. I wonder how far I can keep that hidden. Maybe I'll just call myself TK. I want to see how if I can make that work. Tavern Keeper. I am TK. I'm okay with that. We'll see how well that works. This is going to be my journal of developing my very first video game. It is going to be a 2D puzzle platformer based around a character I have lovingly named Potty. I learned how to do an art for this project, so I know that it's one that I care about. I have a little bit of work done on it, but I figure the best way to start is go all the way back to the beginning. I actually have down below me the video series that I'm watching through, and I'm starting from the top so I can learn all the logic. I can learn everything about GameMaker Studio, which is the program we're going to be using. And I am hopefully, by the end of it, I probably won't be working on my game specifically. I might be trying to take notes as we go on to figure out what exactly I can apply to my game. Because I have sticky notes up here, and I have more sticky notes here. Oh, that reminds me. New one gets to go. Maybe we'll put this one a little bit further down. I have many sticky notes. I'm ready to make notes. I have my journal. Okay, let's start a new project. Yes. Okay, and then I will pause this for now. Close that. And
today I'm starting something I've wanted to do for quite a while.
Hopefully that's not too loud.
A complete platform game. What does
All
complete
right.
mean? Well, it means
That is linked.
There's some lovely squares moving around. And
All right, I have my chat available. No, come back. Oh, I guess I have to have OBS open. That's annoying. Wish I could just like pop out chat from somewhere.
One complete learning package for a beginner developer. So
What's
let's
that?
get started. So humble beginnings. You've got a blank project.
Let me see if I can
What do we do now? Well,
silence nerd.
actually get to our basic
Pause. I've already ruined things. I want to have my Twitch chat available.
Back my high.
I don't know what the fuck that was. Hello, me. Okay. Pop out chat. What happens if I close the... Okay, good. I can actually close that. Oh, fun fact. I am using Pirate Software's website, develop.games, is kind of a framework to figure out what the framework is supposed to be. And there's a lot I need to figure out with it. Like, actually... Oh. Well, my mouse broke. Can you please stop breaking? Nope. It is decided that it is going to not want to work. Whatever. We'll deal. Okay. I think we're all set now. Let's follow a tutorial.
Platforming game from nothing at all. So
Okay.
let's get. Today I'm starting something I've wanted to do for quite a while. I'm going to run a series on building a complete platform game. What is?
I'm gonna have this.
Well, it means we're going from nothing at all to some lovely squares moving around.
I'll keep an eye on chat, just in case.
Front end to the back ended, a functioning menu, screen shake, flourishes, and everything you need to build your own high quality action.
We're not going to be building a game like this, but it is.
We worked for GameMaker Studio 2 and brought together into one complete learning package for a beginner.
There is enough here that I think we can use it to start.
From GameMaker Studio 2.
Nope.
What do we do now? Well, in
Blank.
order to actually get to our basic platforming game from nothing at all, we need to follow a few
Tutorial.
steps. First thing we need to do is create what's called sprites for our player and our wall. Okay?
I do remember
These are
this.
game objects we're going to be working on
Ish.
in this part.
Scripts.
So go ahead and right-click
Sprites.
sprites and hit create. I'm going to call this S_player, S for sprite.
Can I
player
click
for
anywhere?
player.
I think you just
I'm gonna
literally
hit
can click.
image. You'll
Yeah,
notice
that's
by
what I thought.
default, my sprites when I'm making a
Sprite.
sprite are 32 by 32. You can see width and height over here.
I think I'm gonna try to
Your default
adjust
when you
mine
first start
to
engaging
match
might be
his as much as I
64 by
can.
64. That's fine. You can work with that as well. But
How
if
do I
you wanna
change it?
change it? You can go to File, Preferences,
Oh.
and in there you'll.
Fair enough. File, preferences. Oh, I gotta make sure this freaking stays on top so I can read anything that comes in. That's gonna be my one issue. Unless I pull up my tablet. I will have my tablet open. Hopefully this will help a little bit. Nope. Well, I'm not a pro streamer. What makes you think that silliness? Search. Oh, let's test something. Okay, cozy tavern gamer. Search. Hey, it's me. I'm gonna test the follow. How pleasant. I am my own first follower. Screw anyone else that tries to do it themselves. Okay, chat. Okay, now I can see chat and I can see me, so I don't even need to have OBS open, pretty much. Just need to have space just off to the side, like. Always developing things. Okay, there's that. Still have access to all my writing things. Is there anything else behind? Nah, that'll be fine. My drink. Alright. Let's follow the tutorial.
A setting.
Oh wait, no, he said I could go into my settings, general settings. I wanted to adjust it so that the size of my sprite editor, default, let's go 32 by 32. Apply, okay. Close out of the sprite. Goodbye. Create new sprite. 32 by 32, perfect.
Your default sprites. You can work with that as well, but if you want to change it, you can go to File, Preferences, and then you'll find a setting to change your default sprite size.
His sprite, why does his look different? Did he already name his?
32. You can also resize it if you want to follow exactly along with what I'm
That was weird. I don't know why his looks like that.
So now I've made the sprite. I'm going to go into Edit Image. I'm not going to spend long actually making an image. I'm literally just going to grab a nice green color.
Edit image.
The box is just going to have a fill.
Green.
Green rectangle, and that's.
They're all the same.
If I click this
that
here,
one.
You can see the exact
hey, look at me.
size of the sprite. And that's really all I need. Make sure your origin.
Is there a way to back out of this?
Mine are also set to middle center. Yours might be set
Oh, there
to
we
top
go.
left by default. Make sure you select
Top
the
left,
box
middle
here,
center.
middle center, or you can type.
I swear he has more on his screen than I do.
Yeah, it's just important.
Oh wait,
to have
no.
this little
Mine's on
cross
top and
there
his is on
that
bottom. That's weird.
represents Origin, the center of your sprite. Just make sure that is in the middle.
Why does his look different though? It confuses me.
Once I've done that, I'm going to do the exact same thing again. In fact, I'm going to right-click S player. I'm going to hit duplicate. So I've got a second copy of this player sprite now. I'm making sure I'm editing the second one. I'm going to rename it to S wall, and this is going to represent our wall. I'm going to quickly.
There we go.
This,
S
just kind of
wall.
color or something for our wall.
And
so again, make sure that origin is just lined up nicely in the middle there. So those are just a couple of images, okay?
There
They
we
don't
go.
do anything by themselves. I mean, we could have put anything in there as well. We could have added animation as
these
well.
these are the
That stuff later.
things that people
Those are just
see,
images,
not
so you
the
can
not
do
how
anything in
the
game.
the programming
To actually do stuff and have game logic
handles the
and
game.
objects, okay? And they kind of represent the logical blueprints. They carry all of the game logic for our game. So we're going to make a couple of objects, one for the player and one for the wall. So right-click in Objects now and hit Create. You'll see your workspace pans down here to give you
create object. I swear these aren't in their right places. There we go. I may have been doing this wrong. Okay, object 1. What does he have?
a new object editor. I'm going to call this O player, okay?
O player.
Object, player
Makes sense.
Player. That's going to be our player
I still need to finish this. Rubik's Cube, I'll do it later.
This to your player sprite. Okay, just click that.
Assign to sprite player.
In events in here is where we're going to put all the game logic of the game. But before we actually do any of that, I'm first of all just going to create another object for our wall. I'm going to call that O wall.
I swear his is different than mine.
Sprite to be S wall. Okay, so that's our wall sprite. So now we have a couple of objects. Now before we actually set up any real game logic or anything like that and dive
sprite
into
wall.
the nitty-gritty of
Ta-da!
developing a
Look
game,
at that.
let's just go to our room. Okay, so in rooms you'll notice
Room.
you have a
Okay.
0 that's been added.
This is going to be
every GameMaker game
where all of the levels are.
to run at all in the first place. So
It's a grid.
By default. If we just double click that, it'll open up Room Editor. So you'll see you just have this big sort of black rectangle at the moment with kind of a grid. And in fact, if you were to run the game right now, this is all you would see. You would just see a game window with a big
Just be black.
rectangle in it. There'd be nothing in it. You wouldn't see this grid either. That's just to help you place stuff.
I'm running the game. I wanted to see what would happen
Black rectangle.
if he lied to me.
We need to actually put stuff into.
Nope, it's literally just black.
The game world, if you will. So you can see we have kind of.
I bet you I could sell like I bet you a game like this is sold before. That's all I'm saying.
Instances layer selected. Then just click on the resource tree on your player, and if you hold the Alt key, you'll see him appear under the cursor. Okay, that's me just holding the Alt key. You can also just drag, which I might just.
It bothers me that I can't just put it right in the center of a square.
The game world. Or, as I said, and now I'm going to select wall to start placing the walls around. If you hold Alt and see it appear under the cursor, you can then just click and drag to add multiple of an object into the game world. Some people who are maybe a bit more familiar with some of my older videos might be wondering why we're not doing a tile collision system, or we're going to use an object collision system.
I'm very good at drawing.
In maybe a later part.
Oh shit.
We're going to keep this real simple now, just for beginners. Okay. So we just walls
there we go.
Shape of a kind of a level for.
This is very creative.
Sort of delete these ones at the edge here, just selecting them and pressing.
Just all the ones that are
kind of clean it up
not going to be interacted with. So that.
There we go. Just nice sort of layout.
That.
So we have a room. We have a game object. And we have our walls. If I were to run the game now, though, we've not really given this game any instructions to work with other than what should appear in the game room. So this is our game room so far. It's just a little green square.
Still not bad. I'm pleased.
So what we actually need to do to get a video game out of this, or get something playable or interactive, is actually give the game instructions. We've not given it any instructions. We've just other than you should place these objects around here in this room. Okay, that's all we've told it. So, in order to give it more instructions than that, we're going to edit these game objects. O player and we're not really going to edit O wall.
Time to add programming.
It's just there to be a wall, but we're going to do a lot of editing to O player.
I think.
Okay, so double click on O player just to bring you back to the workspace now. And I'm going to press F12 just to sort of, maximize the workspace and give
Nice.
some space to work with. You see we've got this window called events. Now, what's an event? Well, the way GameMaker works is every object is based on
Aha,
events.
I can make it bigger.
An event is
That makes me
when
happy.
a certain thing in the game happens. Say the user pressed a button, or a frame passed, or the object was made or destroyed.
Hopefully,
or the room started
the amount of
cleaning.
notes. I'll end up showing this eventually, I
Those are what's
think.
called events, okay?
But
And
I
then
hope
they
that I have
trigger
enough
certain
notes to
actions
help
go off, which will appear
build
over
the
here.
basic
So I'm
concept
gonna
of
click
the game.
add event, I'm gonna add
I'm
the
sure there's
create
more that I need to do.
Okay, so the create event is triggered. It'll
Create.
be triggered right at the start of the game.
Oh,
when,
I get to choose
when
code
this
versus
object gets
visual.
made in the room for the very first time by on game. Okay. So what we're
Good.
saying is when this object is
No, wait, he's
created,
the thing is using
do
code.
whatever code we
Don't ask for this project.
box, okay. Now
Oh,
we're gonna get started.
so
It's a very,
big.
very, very
Hold on.
basic code. Okay. I'm gonna declare a couple
Nope,
of
we have
variables.
description code.
So I'm just gonna write a few things, and then I'm gonna explain what they
I have a little bit of experience with the programming, thankfully.
0.
Oop.
With a semicolon on the end there as well. VSP equals 0.
Just copying him at this point.
GRV equals 0.05.
Nah, he's British.
Make that 0.1.
Nope, he changed it.
And walk SP equals 4. Okay, those are our 4 variables.
I'm guessing horizontal
So
speed,
blue
vertical
words
speed,
on the left side of
gravity, and walk
the
speed?
numbers on the right have turned red, okay? Game
Horizontal.
kind of works out like what it is you're typing when you're writing code, and it marks certain elements appropriate code.
Yeah, I think speed.
So what
I'm not sure what else it could be.
Maybe I've just lost all of you. I've just written some nonsense. What does any of this mean?
You are
Well,
nonsense.
a variable is just a word. Any word we can make
Making
up, like a
sure.
type in any number of characters like that, this or whatever, equals, and then say 50. Basically, all I'm saying
The
is
loveliness that is
word
programming
now
and
on,
having
if I type in
ridiculous
code,
names for things.
means this number. Okay, that's literally all a variable.
Just establishing.
Okay, saying
I'm
word,
confused as to how it just
usually
automatically
a number, can be
automatically
so
determines the
first of all,
type as
I'm
real.
another variable. So now that I've got HSP
I don't know
equals 0,
why
so
it does
if I
that.
type HSP, I'm basically telling the game 0.
Or if there's
okay?
going to be a point when I
What
need
can
to
do later is say like HSP
declare it as something else.
VSP, for example, and then set one variable to equal whatever the result of another one is. And then
Yeah.
basically, if,
Keeping things in the right order is going to be a
programming
bitch and a half,
works,
I'm
we're
sure.
just comparing and changing what numbers are in these different variables in order to affect stuff in the game. Okay, that's how we create game logic.
Oh.
We just compare and change.
For the
numbers
YouTube
around until
peoples,
we get what we
the
want.
link to this video series is going to be in the
So I'm just going to make
description.
this a bit bigger now, just so you can definitely always see whatever I'm
Wait.
typing on the screen here. So HSP equals 0. So
How do you-
what did
I'm
all these
confused.
words
How did-
use?
how did-
Shorthand
how did he
things.
do
What
that?
any of these mean? HSP, I'm using a shorthand for horizontal speed. Okay, H for horizontal.
I don't have the ability to
speed.
increase the.
VSP is vertical speed. Okay.
Nope, that doesn't work.
RV is going to be gravity.
Okay.
And walk SP is walk speed. So that's the speed we actually.
Yeah,
want
horizontal speed, vertical speed,
when
gravity.
when we move left
Yeah.
and right. We're
We
gonna set
pretty
our
much nailed that.
horizontal speed to be this number in whichever direction. Okay. So the reason HSP and VSP are currently 0 is because we don't actually want to be moving at the start of the game. We want to set yourself to move based on whether you're pressing left and right or whether gravity is applying. Speaking of gravity, that's what
Gravity.
GRV means. GRV stands for gravity. And,
Gravity is a
I'm saying
unique
that's
built-in variable, so I have to use GRV.
downwards at, like, 0.5
I wonder what
frame,
if you were to use gravity in this circumstance, would it?
So just copy those down if you're following along. Don't worry
Yeah,
too
the
much.
gravity
about it if
direction,
you've already
gravity.
lost you diving into this code.
So you could use it.
It'll all start to become clear as you do more of it. The more of this you write, the more
Quick
you
fix.
practice, the more it'll all start to slowly make sense. Okay, feel free to go back and
Uh-oh.
watch if you don't understand any of the explanations I just made. The only other thing I'll clarify is that the
Interesting.
semicolons on the end here that
Colon.
just tells GameMaker when a line of code has finished. Okay, because you can technically do funny things where you carry on one line of code onto multiple lines, as weird as that sounds. But for now, all you need to remember is at the end of almost every line of code, you want to write a semicolon just to officially tell
Colon.
GameMaker where that line of code ends. GameMaker's actually very forgiving, lets you get away with actually not putting this most of the time, like that'll still work.
It hurts my soul
it's good practice just to make sure you
to not have that, because I took programming in college.
So now we've done that.
For I think
now we've established a few of these variables.
I think it ended up being 4 semesters, not all connected, but
here. Pass creates the fourth one.
what the heck?
Step, and you've got 3 different kinds: step,
Step.
begin step, and end step. Don't worry about those last 2. Just select step. Okay. The step event is a special event that happens every single frame of your game.
Ooh.
So if you play games and you know about frame rates and things, or even if you don't, games tend to run at either 30 or 60 frames per second. Okay. That means like
interesting.
Basically, every game is just showing you a sequence of still.
Curious, what else is there? Create, destroy.
Moving, right?
How do you determine something gets destroyed? Key down, key up, key press.
Our step event is going to be logic that happens every single one of those, so 60 times every second, and this is where we put the majority.
Jesus
of our
Christ!
logic, okay, so every single
Alarm.
we check to see whether or not the user is pressing left or right or pressing jump, and then react accordingly.
Interesting.
And do other stuff. Okay. So that's
Countdown
the very first
things.
Thing we're gonna do is we're gonna
Would I want to
check
use a
see,
countdown for any of the levels, or
player is pressing left, right, or spacebar? We'll have that for jump. Okay.
That's a note. Are levels timed? Timed. I am making notes because I every time I have a new thought towards this game, I just want to make sure that it at least gets down and I can think about it later. And right now, looking at the different events that are available with alarm, it made me think of timing each level of the game, which is kind of it. I've been considering. There was an offhanded thought of making it like speed run friendly, just in case that ends up being a thing. But the idea of having the levels timed, that could either go towards the speedrun side of things, or if I wanted to add points, just like to score each level. I'm not sure how I want to do that. I'm sure I won't actually remember what in the world I'm trying to say with each of the sticky notes, but at least I can add there. Just more questions to answer as we go through our journey. Anyways.
So how do we do any of that? Well, I'm going to do the same thing I did
Step.
in the create event by establishing.
His doesn't have the notes, the little slashes.
Stuff, and again, I'll explain what it all means.
Yes.
So I'm going to write key left equals keyboard.
I wonder if there's documentation for all the variables that I can use.
Bracket VK left. Okay, so what?
E underscore left equals keyboard
blue line of text again.
Underscore check VK underscore left.
Side, okay, and this is what's called a function or a command. Okay?
Any. So that's just a variable in general. This is a true false. Is this a boolean? Yeah, boolean.
And in this case, keyboard
function
check, what it does is it checks to see whether or not we're pressing whatever key we specify in this
VK left. What is virtual keyboard?
Left. Okay, so that will tell us whether.
How does it know what the virtual keyboard is?
And whether
is there a way to set?
basically
that
what this whole
virtual
line will mean
key
is 1. Okay, the number 1. And if we're not pressing it, it'll be the number 0. Okay, so just like binary, 0 for false, 1 for true. And that number is then going to get placed into key left. So then we can later check what is in key left to know whether or not we're pressing the left arrow key. And I'm going to do the same thing for some other keys. So I'm going to have key right equals keyboard, check, open bracket, VK right, close bracket, semicolon. And
right, what he's saying in just a second.
Jump, lastly keyboard, check, and this time underscore press, VK space. So now, why have I written underscore pressed here? Well,
see that?
Basically, we don't want to check every single frame whether
there we
we're
go.
holding
Yeah,
it.
accessibility, how to make customizable keybinds.
On this frame, okay? So whether
this one will
these just return 1
go
or 0 based on whether or not the key is held or not. This returns 1 or 0 depending on whether or not the key was pressed on
lots of booleans that I need to write down.
frame that you actually pressed it for the first time. After that, it'll just return 0 until you let go of the
lots of keyboard checks.
Okay, so now we know whether or not we're pressing left, right, or jump.
My wonder is, can a keyboard check just be related to
var function? Okay, you can see that turns as well because it's doing something special in GameMaker.
Rest.
What var does is it lets you establish one of these variables, one of these blue words, but it establishes them as kind of a yellow.
Okay, real quick, because I need my brain to sync everything in as I'm taking notes. Key left checks the keyboard or virtual key, which I'm wondering if we can set this virtual key to be left. I'm curious how it handles gamepad. Ah ha ha ha! Look at me being a smarty pants. Yeah, gamepad is connected. Gamepad is supported. Get mapping, button value. Yeah. Fuck yes. Okay, I'm learning things. Just making sure that I don't accidentally write onto the wall, because that would make people upsetty. Okay. This is a whole set of things, which I think are going to be along the lines of the keyboard checks. But I am happy that I found it. Get access dead zone. Get button threshold. Get button check. So I guess I guess in that circumstance you're talking about with buttons, you're talking about these guys, like the actual buttons. But I'm curious if it also counts as like pressing down like the thumbstick, because you know it has the clicky. I don't know if the microphone's actually picking that up, but just imagining what kind of remapping, because if you can, one of the things that I saw when making your game more accessible, you need to be able to have keybinds be able to be changed. And if you have it so that it is, your game can work with game pads, like any gamepad, then people that use custom gamepads to game can adjust the keybinds to work how they want. And then you have a whole new set of audience that would be able to play and enjoy your game. So I think we definitely need to look into accessibility. This is big picture stuff, of course. We're still trying to figure out how the fuck to jump.
Tint word, and what it means when you establish using var is that variable is temporary. Okay, so it only lasts
temporary
one frame, so one loop of this step event.
Interesting. I wish I could see the documentation, honestly.
So the var is going to be called new, and now what I'm going to set this to,
or is it open manual?
Is key
Nope.
right minus key
Move.
left. Now think about what I just told you about these variables, okay? So key right is going to be
Oh, yeah.
depending on not we press the right arrow.
This is freaking clever. I love that, because when it's true or false, true is 1, false is 0. And I'm curious. Move. Oh, right. No, now my brain's broken. Oh, wait, no, we're just setting up another variable. This doesn't actually, this isn't the action itself. I forgot. I did a brain break.
So if I subtract key left...
But this does give a direction. That is the big thing, is that it gives us -1, 1, or 0. The amount that you move.
-0, giving move 1. Now imagine you're pressing key left, but not key right. You'd get 0.
Or if you're pressing both, you piece of shit.
-1. Okay, so you get 1 if you're moving right, -1 if you're moving left. The reason I'm doing it this way, it might seem a bit like anti-intuitive, but the reason I'm doing it like this, so that if you're pressing both keys, you get 1 -1,
Interesting.
0, so that you
Aha!
move it all.
Called it.
You're pressing both arrow keys, or whether you're pressing neither, 0,
Actually,
0, 0. Okay, it just handles every possible outcome.
I could get my creatine in. Cool.
Okay, it's a very smooth way of dealing with whether or not you're pressing left and right, and whether or not you should move in that direction. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set our horizontal speed. So remember the variable that we wrote, HSP? We set it to 0 in our create event. In here, HSP equals 0. What we're going to do now is set that to equal move. So whatever that happens to be on this frame, it might be 0,
horizontal
1,
speed,
or -1, multiplied by walk sp. Okay, so walk SP, which is 4. That's our current walk speed.
How quickly I want you to move across the screen.
Move left or right. So we're going to get either 1, 0, or -1. So if we are holding the right arrow key, we'll get 1 times 4. So we'll get 4, meaning we want to move 4 pixels to the right. Or if we're holding the left, we'll get -1 times 4, -4. We want to move 4 pixels to the left. Or it'll be 0 times 4 if we're pressing both or neither, meaning we don't want to move at all. Okay, and HSP is going to get that final result, so it'll be 0, -4, or 4. And then all I'm going to do in order to, so we can actually see some of this working now, because we've done a lot of playing around with numbers and variables without really seeing any fun game stuff. So I'm going to set X. You see X turns green, because that's a built-in property of our object. There's a few of those, okay? There's things like sprite, index,
X.
and,
what the hell is X?
Properties.
Oh,
things you can
it's the position. That's right.
About the object. X represents its X coordinate in the room. Okay,
but
so
we start the X initially at 0, 0 from where you start in the game.
So
I think.
If we change either of these to be something else, the object will.
This now is going to be grape lemonade, so hopefully it doesn't taste awful.
To equal itself. So whatever our X coordinate currently is going to equal itself again, which obviously wouldn't change it, but we're going to add.
Oh, plus. Oh, that's right.
Okay?
If you were to make it so that someone was like, I wonder if you could take this, and because you know how it's setting X to equal X equal plus HSP. It is taking a previous value and making it equal to the previous value, like the new value is equal to the previous value plus the change, which gives it makes it so it's exactly like plus HSP. It's if you positive to the right, negative to the left, which is how you normally move in video games. But if you were to have, say, a confusion or confused status, if you were to make it negative, moving to the right, like if you were to press the left arrow key or the left button, you'd actually move to the right. If you were to actually press the right arrow key, you move to the left. That's another question. Fuck. So many things that I can actually think of as I'm talking it out. And on that note, I'm actually going to just leave it empty because I have a feeling that I'm going to have more to think on that later on. And that one will actually put closer to obstacles. I should have this available. I should take a picture of it so I can pull it up when necessary. Or I could just turn my camera. I'm just using my phone right now. Hopefully no one's texting me. I doubt they are. I'm a lonely man. Okay, so we have move. Realistically, it's determining the direction. That's what's happening, left or right, based off of how we see a positive move versus a negative move. And then we have HSP, movement speed, taking the positive or negative positive or negative value of move, multiplying it by walk speed, which we have in the create section. And now it's having us take that value that we've now determined and adding it to our current x value.
Either 4
our
or
position.
-4 to our current x coordinate to move us around. So we'll either
Look at me
pixels
understanding
to
what
the
the hell
right
he's
or
talking
4
about.
pixels to the left. Now, before I run the game, I'm going to quickly go into game options, okay? And just at the top
Game
here,
options,
main
what?
options general, I'm going to
Where is game options? Is it this? Yes.
set game frames per second to 60, just so we get a nice smooth 60 FPS game. You can leave it at 30 if you prefer.
No, that's silly.
I prefer the game to run at a smooth 60. So I'm going to hit play now, or you can also press F5. And you see we've got our game again.
There we go.
Just our green objects and our if I press the left and right arrow keys now, you see our green square actually starts to move around.
There might possibly be an issue.
Obvious problems here. We've not quite got a platform left and right, but
I can't move up or down.
That's no good, and we don't.
I can be almost hidden.
Because there's no
Hide and seek is hard.
And it's because there's also no collisions set up with any of the walls, okay? So that's what we're going to look to do next.
Nope.
Okay, so back in our player object, we now need to check to see if we're colliding. So how do we work out if there's a collision between the player and the wall?
Good question.
And
I don't know.
How do we react accordingly, right? What we're going to do, we're not actually going to check to see if we're like currently colliding with the wall. We're going to predict.
Hope the stream doesn't sound too loud.
With HSP, where we're going to move, we're going to end up moving at X plus HSP. So what we're going to do before we commit to making this movement, just in the middle here, we're going to check to see if there is a collision, and if there is, we're going to reduce our speed and stop that
collision
before it actually happens. Before I do that, I'm going to add in a couple of quick comments.
How many before that are you going to have, my guy?
Typing 2 forward slashes in a row, you can see the text turns green.
Yeah, there's your notes. Forward slash. How do I forward slash? Oh, my brain turned off.
This section here is get player input, I suppose. This section here would be.
This is the kind of documentation. One of the things I need to learn how to do is I need to be able to take all the information, not only just in the programming itself, but in the building of the game. I want to learn, I think I in my folder, one of the things that is recommended as you're building the game is to make a game design document, which looks like this guy. This one I pulled from develop.games. Hey, he's live. He's hanging out and talking with people and answering questions. But he said, this is the big thing that got me as I was going through his website. What skills do you need? You don't need to be an artist. I've hardly ever draw, but I happen to have a tablet and a pen. from that, I ended up... I made a little guy. I made a little guy. This is Potty. It is the first incarnation. It's supposed to... I was about to say, I don't like how it looks, but honestly, this is me learning how to draw. And I'm going to be talking with a friend about getting more art done, hopefully. So, you don't need to be an amazing artist. I was able to do this. And in case you're curious how the heck I did it, I literally just traced a pot that I found online. And it worked. And I'll probably do that more. Don't need to be an artist. Don't need to be a musician. Thankfully, I have a little bit of a background in music. But I've never produced music. And you don't need to be an amazing programmer. That is why I'm watching tutorials and learning the basics and hoping for the best. Like nothing has been built yet, and I'm kind of just hoping for the best. Undertale apparently looked kind of Uggies under the hood. But I mean, it's Undertale. Enough said. But he said that one of the best ways to... There it is. One of the best ways to start making games is building a game design document, and that's this guy. So I need to start writing this up. Maybe I can even have one started by the time that I stream next, which God only knows when that's going to be. But if this is kind of just the basic concept of what it's supposed to look like, development timeline, that terrifies me, because that means that I actually have to stick to a set of guidelines. Of course, this was for a game jam, so they're usually timed. But this guy managed to make his entire game with whoever he was doing it with, starting on the 22nd of June of 2 years ago, and finished it by Wednesday, June 29th. What the fuck? Created levels, got level select, built a pause menu, sound effects, player animation. Like, oh my God. Like, there's so many things that you don't realize about. Oh. Create itch page. I should probably look into setting up an itch page soon. If I can get past the first... If I can go from tutorial to actually starting to build out what the heck this is supposed to be, then I think we deserve to make an itch page. But lots of things. I will probably end up having to read through this a couple times just so I have an understanding of what I want to put in my own design document. And then right now I am a solo developer, but I want to bring more people in on this. I want to have friends do it, but I'm trying to figure out if that's because I want to work with people and make a cool game with other people, or if I just don't want to do the work. So we're kind of grinding it on my own until I can figure out the answer to that. Anyways, what am I doing? Let's go back to this.
Calculate movement.
Oh yes, making notes, having the documentation. It's very important.
Collision here, okay.
Okay,
Just so you can sort of tell what's going on. In fact, we're running out of space here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to press F12, just close this, maximize this, just so we've got as much space as possible here to work on our code.
Even better. Wait, can I go who?
Working now until the end of this particular part.
I want to zoom in. How did he zoom in? I'm so confused. He's a cheater. I don't know how he did that.
Collision. I'm going to type if place meeting
Nope.
Okay.
So horizontal collision. We've determined movement. Horizontal collision. I can spell, I swear. Alright.
Open bracket
If
plus
place underscore meeting
HSP, comma,
x plus
y,
HSP.
comma, O wall. Close bracket again. And I'm going to go underneath and open a
So
squiggly
if
bracket
the
and
place
close
of
a
meeting
squiggly bracket.
x
Now that was a lot
plus
of stuff,
the
so
movement,
what
essentially.
does
That's what that's going to be.
If you can see it's a
Well, so if place meeting, the position of x after the movement, y. Oh, this is for horizontal collision. Okay. And then the wall being the object that you're concerned of its collision with. So this could be any object, which could be a wall. It could be, say, a collectible. It could be an enemy. It could be the flagpole saying that you beat the level. Just depends on what you're trying to collide into. Okay, I need to use the restroom, and I don't have a BRB screen. So instead, I am going to be a basic bitch. Okay. Now I have a BRB screen. It's wonderful. All right, I'll be right back. Need to use the restroom.
a special thing quite like var. What if does is it asks GameMaker a question, okay? And that question is what we put in this pair of brackets. And it says, if the thing that's in the brackets is true, do whatever we put in these squiggly brackets. If this is not true, skip it and just go to whatever comes after it, okay? So if, and in place meeting, what place meeting does is check to see whether or not there is a collision between this object and the object that you give it here in the brackets at this position, okay? So if my player happened to be in this spot, would there be a collision between my player and a wall? And if there is, it returns 1. If there isn't, it returns 0. If it returns 1, we do this stuff. If it isn't, we skip straight to movement. So is there a collision between myself and the wall? And if there is, what do we do about it? So if there is a collision, the first thing we want to do is set HSB to equal 0, right? We don't want to move anymore now that we know that there's going to be a collision if we were to actually move where the player was telling us to, okay? But that's not all we want to do, because if you think about it, if you were, say, 3 pixels away from the wall, and you wanted to move 4 pixels towards the wall, now the problem there is that you can set your speed to 0, but then you would still be 3 pixels away from the wall. So what you actually want to do is set your speed to 0, but then move as close as you can. So how do we work that out? Well, we're going to use what's called a while statement. So that while. Now while, for the most part, works exactly the same as if, okay? We're going to ask GameMaker a question in these brackets. If that question returns true, we're going to do whatever we put in these squiggly brackets, okay? So what's the question? We're going to ask to see if there's not a collision 1 pixel in the direction we're moving, okay? So you can see how we did if place meeting up here. That's to say if there is a collision. We want to see if there's not a collision. Now you can do that. You can change anything to a not instead of an is, just by putting an exclamation mark in front of it. So by typing exclamation mark place meeting, we're going to check to see if there's not a collision, okay? It flips the result you get. So if I get a 1, it treats it as a 0. If we get a 0, it treats it as a 1, okay? Just a quick way of doing that. So we're going to check if our x coordinate, but not plus our full horizontal speed, plus sine HSB, and then comma our y coordinate. coordinate, and the object we're looking for is a wall again, okay? So if there's not a collision at x plus sine hsp, what's sine do though? That's another function. What does this do? Sine returns either 1 or minus 1, depending whether or not the variable we give it is positive or negative. Okay, so because hsp, like if we were moving to the right, hsp would be 4, so sine hsp would be 1. If we're moving left, it'd be minus 4, so sine hsp would be minus 1. Okay? So if that happens to be true, then we do whatever's in these brackets. Now the difference between a while statement and an if statement is a while statement will continue to do these things over and over and over and over and over again. It'll just loop on this spot over and over until this condition is no longer true, okay? So as long as there's not a collision, 1 pixel in the direction of movement, we continue doing what's in here over and over and over. We don't even finish a new frame until it's done. So you have to be very careful, otherwise you can cause freezes and infinite loops if you get stuck in a while statement. So you want to be careful how you use them and make sure the condition eventually returns false. So what do we want to do while there's no collision 1 pixel to the side of us? Well, we want to increase our x coordinate by 1 in that direction. So I'm going to say x equals x plus sine hsp. So we're going to increase x by 1 in either to the right if it's plus 1, or to the left if it's negative 1, okay? That there should really be enough. If I press F5 now and run the game, I should see if I move to the left, I can't go through the wall anymore. I collide flush against the wall, nice and cleanly. And if I move all the way to the right, again, flush against that wall, perfect pixel collision, okay? So now there was obviously a problem in that game. We don't have any gravity still, and we still can't jump or anything like that. So let's fix that, okay? Let's move these things close together, because this is a horizontal section, okay? Let's create a collision section for vertical movement, okay? I'm just going to copy and paste that whole section, because what we're going to do is completely the same thing, okay? So I'm going to change this to vertical, and now we just need to move these plus HSPs to the Y coordinate, and change them from HSP to VSP for vertical speed, right? And then we want to change these X's to Y's. So make sure you do all of those steps, okay? If you're following along, make sure you copy it down. Oh, wow, I'll just do it first, and then you can make sure you've got it exactly right, okay? So I'm going to cut, just with Control X, this section in front of X here, paste it in front of Y instead. I'm going to do the same here, this plus sine HSP, cut that, paste it in front of Y instead, okay? Just those two sections. Then I'm going to rename HSP to VSP instead, okay? Then I'm also going to change this one to VSP, this one to VSP, and oops, and this one to VSP, okay? So you should have no HSPs left in this section. They should every single one of these blue things should read VSP, okay? Make sure. I'm going to change these X coordinates here to Y's. Ooh. Okay, so those should be Y's. I want to leave these X's in. but
And I've been muted this whole time. Cool. That's on me. That's entirely on me. Hopefully I didn't say anything interesting. Yeah, this was first stream. It's whatever if shit gets broken. Let me clean something up here because it's bothering me. Wait, where's my... There it goes. All right. I think we are back to normal. Let's keep going.
change all the rest of those other 4 here, just these 4 to Y's, okay? And then that should be it, okay? That's everything we need.
Okay, let's... Now that I've fixed the stupid, because it was being annoying as fuck. So, not this. VS plus sign VSP. Then we guess this is Y equals Y plus sign VSP. VSP equals 0. Y, VSP. I think that's
Actually change that. That's the
perfect. We nailed it.
Copy paste that, change some variables around, exactly the same thing, just in the other direction with
Cool.
the other coordinate.
We'll probably that's probably going to be a very base thing.
We want to move by our gravity. Okay, so let's say VSP equals VSP plus GRV. Remember, that's the gravity variable we set up in the create event. So let's change it up.
So create is kind of just, I guess, if it's in the same event or a child event or a child value, like how this keeps going. I bet you if it starts back here, then you can keep on using it. Okay, then steps. Okay, you changed your gravity to 0.3.
0.3. Make it a little bit quicker. Okay. Once you've done that, come back to the step event. So that should be enough to actually make us move.
From some movement has, so now we're actually establishing VSP, making it VSP plus GRV. Interesting.
Gravity. So if I run the game now, just press F5 there, it'll compile a bit at the bottom.
All right.
And you see right at the start there, just fell down, and I can demonstrate again just by walking off this ledge. Just watch very carefully.
I can't.
Okay, and I land flush.
I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I can't actually do anything. Perfectly. This is crap.
We're almost there now. We almost have what's recognizable as a platformer, right? So if I close that,
we're very, very close.
Is make it so you can actually jump.
Yes.
So jumping. How on earth do we do that?
I have no idea.
So what we first
jump.
do is check if we're on the floor. Okay. We obviously don't want to be able to jump over in the air, or maybe we do, in which case ignore this next line of code, which is going to be if place meeting, again, just another collision check, x, our current x coordinate, y plus 1, so 1 pixel below
x,
and then the vertical movement is positive.
Y plus 1.
If we're moving down, or it's negative if we're moving up. And O wall for the wall object. Close both pairs of brackets. And open curly bracket. And
if Y plus 1? Wouldn't it be Y minus 1? No, wait. If place meeting, so if there's a collision at Y plus 1, my brain's confused.
So if we're on the floor, okay? So if we're on the floor, we also then want to check to see if
Hold on. I wanna see that again.
Open squiggly bracket and close it again. And positive y+1, so 1 pixel below us. Remember, vertical movement is positive if we're moving down, or it's
vertical movement down is positive. Okay, that's kind of weird, but whatever.
negative if we're moving up. And
that's so odd.
The wall
okay, fair enough. I understand now.
And open squiggly bracket and close it again. So if we're on the floor, okay? So if we're on the floor, we also then want to check to see if the jump key is being pressed. Now I could type if key jump here and open another if statement, but we don't need to do that. What we can do is combine our current if statement with another.
Oh, right.
Type 2 ampersand symbols here, or I just write the word and. Use the ampersand symbols.
Jump.
Do the same thing.
So this would return true or false, and in order for this if statement to go through, both this and this have to come back true. I wonder if there's is it just or? What is the I'm curious what the or boolean ends up being.
What's in the squiggly brackets if they're both true? Okay, so
love that.
Key jump.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay.
Oh,
don't need that other one. There we go. So we've got two conditions there. If we're on the floor and we've just pressed jump. So what do we want to happen? Well, we want to change our vertical speed. So we take VSP equals -7. Okay, I'm just going to say...
That sounds like a random variable.
It's by quite a lot, so I'm just going to use big negative numbers.
So we'll have to base it on just how high I want. Nope.
You can see we're on the floor there.
All right.
Fall to the floor, and if I press space, we actually
hey, let's go.
Brings us back down.
That is not a high jump.
Yeah, that's the basics.
That's dope.
A very simple platform game. That's a lot.
Look at this. I mean, it only took... How long is the stream been going now? 1 hour and 10 minutes. But we now have the most basic of games. Now to turn this into sticky note there. I should probably draw this out, properly. If I could figure out how to stream from my tablet to my computer, I would absolutely do that. Just use it as a drawing tablet, or as a a drawing tablet, and just be able to do work that way. That would be so fucking cool. I'll have to figure that out. I'm sure there's a way. Also, because it bothers me that I have to press spacebar, I'm gonna see VK virtual key, numpad, page up, right, R shift, VK up. I bet you VK up works. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Left, right, and up. Perfect. Because I am a filthy arrow keys gamer. This much better. It's currently at -7. So for it to work right, I have to orient myself again. Going right for you, not for me. It's left for me right now. Going right is positive, going left is negative, going down is positive, going up is negative. So positive, negative. That's so weird. I'd prefer positive, negative. That's so dumb. Whatever. I will accept it, learn it, deal with it, grow from it, get good at it. Oh, what about this? This is just me being dumb. So this checks if that's available. Let's do a test. I'm just gonna delete that. If key jump. Okay. So just tapping it. But it's just a single. I just tap. Tap it once. Single jump. Tap, 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 tap. Thankfully, I'm not going to have any sections of the game that deal with this, but I am very amused. And I bet this could be used for jetpacks or double jumping games. How far can I go? I brought it back, baby. That's so stupid, and I love it. Yeah, that's so fun. Ooh. Debug mode? Okay. I just get another sticky note. When I think debug mode, my brain thinks, okay, we're testing at a level and I want to be on this level and I want to test the bounds. Oh no, I'm gone forever, I don't know how to come back. Thankfully, I know how to come back. Or I left it for, half a second. I want there to be a way to open a debug menu and return to a certain point. Like if I were to press space, it spawns you like right in the center of the map, That would be cool. I don't know if it'd be necessary or if it'd just be used for hacks, but I am pleased that we found a thing.
Programming, that's quite a lot to get your head around.
This is super cool.
If you didn't understand
I'm happy
of this code at all. First of all, I'd recommend just typing it all in exactly as you've seen here.
Yes, exactly. I have typed it all in. I've been slowly fucking with it. I've been enjoying the in little bits here and there.
As I described it.
I'm very happy.
And what you can actually do is you can middle click on any of these functions.
Yay.
It'll actually take you to the manual. Okay, the manual will open at the page for that function, and it'll tell you what it does. Okay. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. A huge shout outs to my Patreon supporters. Without
he has a Patreon. Maybe we'll support it. Who knows? What is this place meeting? Oh, yeah. So, one of the things about place meeting, we're going to have to figure out. I know this is going to mess with the little bottom corner. One of the big things about place meeting is that we actually have the ability to adjust our collision masks when it comes to each of the objects. So, if we keep it a big square, like if we got our lovely little pot, are we going to have it as a big square? Or are we going to have it as a rectangle that kind of fits within the legs and maybe just a little bit further out? Or are we going to have it nailed down to just the edges of the animation? Because I'm trying to figure out how hard it would be to make a walking animation of sorts. We'll see how that works. Not entirely certain if that's going to be doable. Well, just so I can go, hey, we're making something, I honestly should probably just worry about making it making the levels, making it so that an object can go from point A to point B. We'll fuck around with collision masks and things later on, I'm sure. All right, let's pull this back.
Who none of these videos could realistically happen.
Sean Spalding.
Big shout out in
King. I appreciate you.
Angel Rodriguez, Harold Guidry, and Jason McMillan. Thank you guys ever so much.
You look like a child.
Watching this video.
Actually,
enjoyed this video.
You don't look like a child. You look like a college student aimed at total beginners. Set up movement, gravity, and collisions in fewer than 40 lines of code. All right, what's next? Complete platformer. Animated player. Is this like animating everything? Because I don't have one. Unless you have.
Very evenly spaced.
Okay, hold on a second. We'll probably do this one, and then I'll call it for the stream. Because I don't want to go super late. It's already 2:44 in the morning.
Our platformer series. Today we're going to change our little green square into an actual player sprite. We're going to use 3 different player sprites. One to make him run, one to make him jump and fall, and one for when he's just standing around. And we're going to make him change direction and...
Okay. This one's... I'm making yet another note. Just as a kind of to-do thing. Different sprites. Okay. So he has his standing, running, jumping. Right?
Standing around. One to make him into an actual player sprite. We're going to use 3 different player sprites. One to make him run, one to make him jump and fall, and one for when he's just
jump/fall.
Around.
And just standing around.
Direction and overlap properly with our wall.
Changing direction. And you said, what about overlapping with the wall?
Sprites, one to make him run, one to make him jump and fall, and one for when he's just standing around. And we're going to make him change direction and overlap properly with our walls.
Overlap with okay. That's kind of just the lesson of the day. Different sprites. This will be there. No way. Oh, let's go. I'm so happy. That makes me very amused. I am Hold on. I was able to be live long enough. Oh shoot, let's go. Oh wait. Yes. Okay. You, my friend, are my first ban. Bye, cunt. Fuck you. This is why I should get into voice acting. I still think it'd be fun to do voiceover for the character. Let's open this video and continue going.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is actually bring in our new artwork.
Is there actual... our assets.
I'm just going to bring in some artwork I made earlier. It's very simple stuff. I just made it using the basic sprite tools in...
Hey, okay, so we actually have access to all of his...
New sprite. I'm just going to go to our...
We have access to all of his assets. So I'm just going to pull from just gonna export all those. All right, now it's available for us. There we go.
Sprite S player.
Perfect.
I'm gonna hit the import button and bring.
Okay, Brain, I already turned off. Where is he right now? He's back in the workspace. Okay. Room. Workspace. Instances. I don't have my right bar anymore. Where's my resources tab? Layouts, tools, windows. I'm confused. I don't know how to reopen things. I mean, I guess save project. What if I close the project? And then just like reopen it. That still makes me happy. I'm more than a little amused. Okay. So now we can see everything again. Then assets. See now I don't know why that wasn't showing up earlier. That's kind of annoying. But let's back this up just a skosh.
Yeah, it's very simple stuff. I just made it using basic sprite tools in GameMaker. So I'm going to go. I'm not going to create a new sprite. I'm just going to go to our player sprite S player. I'm going to hit the import button.
Right. S player.
Bring in this little dude. This dude's going to be our player. You might remember him from when I previewed the game we're going to make. This is going to be our guy drawn very badly.
It's just S player.
No arms at the moment,
yes.
But we'll solve that later on.
Yes.
And kind of give him a weapon.
Look at that. Now we have a player.
I'm going to leave his origin in the center for now. What I am going to do though
middle
is
center
collision mask, and you'll see the moment I open that up, it draws like a preview gray box around.
Your background is different than mine. I wish I had yours. But yes, it goes just around the edge of it, which probably means that with one like mine, I don't know if mine's smaller or bigger or what. Probably bigger. Oh yeah, see, 64. Import. Yeah. Where is desktop? S player. There we go. Okay.
The sprite, that's where it will register collisions at the moment. So it just like kind of makes a box and sort of tightens it around the non-transparent areas.
Is there actually hair up? Yeah, there is hair up there. Wasn't certain.
What we're gonna do though is we're gonna handle this manually instead of sort of this automatic one. Because we don't want collisions to happen here or here. We're gonna shrink it down. Okay. I'm gonna select mode here and select manual, and it will give you these little handles in the corner. That will allow you to just drag and reshape the collision box how you want it.
That's a very small collision box. He centers it in just this little itty bitty spot here. So it's like something like his is. Oh wait, no, he actually adjusted his a little more.
Like this. Now you can have your collision box however you want for whatever.
I feel as though it's almost.
I will
like you almost should have a bigger.
I'm using for the
I don't know.
Download them from the description of the video or whatever. But it's best generally, unless you know what you're doing, to go for a small collision box. Always err on the side of having a collision box smaller.
Really?
Than it should be realistically.
Oh.
Than it should be.
Because if it's bigger, then it could have issues with, like, going through objects, or not going through objects, but interacting with objects if they're funky sizes.
Realistically, for all sorts of different game design and coding reasons and so on.
Yes.
I mean, it's up to you, but generally it's a good rule of thumb to kind of make it small. So that's the collision box we're going to use there. We can close him down now. I'm going to import a couple more sprites, so hit create in sprites this time. I'm going to import a sprite for our player when he's running, and another sprite for when he's jumping as well. So I'm going to call this S player, and then capital R for running, okay? And I'm going to click import.
Okay, real quick, because I know there's almost guaranteed to be no one here. I'm still a terrible, terrible person. Anyways, back to... Oh, what the fuck? Okay, I think we are set. Let's finish this sooner rather than later, shall we?
This sprite here.
Wait, what the fuck?
I mean, it's up to you, but
Talked about
generally it's a good rule of thumb.
Collision masks.
That's
Or
the
collision
box we're going to use there.
Yeah.
We can close him down now. I'm going to import a couple more sprites, so hit create in sprites this time. I'm going to import a sprite for our player when he's running, and another sprite for when he's jumping as well. So I'm going to call this S player, and then capital R for running, okay? And I'm going to click import, and bring in this sprite here, S player R strip 4.
S player R strip
interesting
4.
about importing sprites is if you include the word strip at the end of your file name and then a number, GameMaker automatically realizes that that's a strip image and will break it down into frames for you. So you see this image, this is just one complete image. It's
interesting.
That's like for this dude just in a row, very evenly spaced out.
That's cool.
Kind of a running sequence, just a little sprite sheet. But because it has the word strip 4 at the end, instead of importing it as just one image, it'll automatically break it down into 4 images. So it's the word strip and then the number of frames you want to break it down into. So if I import that, like yes, you'll see it.
I need to understand how in the world I'm going to animate this shit. This person doesn't have arms. Does Potty need arms? I don't actually know now. What would happen if Potty didn't have arms? Fuck. This unfortunately, it legitimately has to be a fucking sticky note now. Does Potty need arms? the thing. Yeah, my phone is probably slowly dying a little bit.
Automatically comes in with all 4 sprites
That's
and a little animation.
super cool though. So, first frame is in the air. Second frame, left leg is all the way back, and right, or sorry, facing to the right. The left leg is about to step. Right leg is lifted. Left leg is all the way on the ground. Right leg is fully lifted. Left leg is back. Right leg is coming forward. Right leg is forward. Left leg is going back up. And this is the same. But it's like, it works. Oh, I kind of want to watch this like super slow. Can I do like 8 frames a second? Like, honestly. Actually, so I was thinking of it as like, this guy looks like he's facing you like this, you know, face off to the side, eyes, you know, both eyes can see you. And that he is going in the direction of his face. But if you picture it like a side view and watch the legs that way, that's just his front leg and his back leg. Front leg goes down, back leg goes up. Front leg goes to the middle, back leg comes forward. They match. And then his back leg is now the front leg. So you could go. Let's literally do 1 frame a second. Right leg, right leg, right leg. Now it's a left leg. Left leg is down. It's coming back. Right leg is now forward. Right leg. Like, it works. That's that seems so much easier. I feel super stupid. Two frames a second. My brain is slightly struggling to keep that image in my head. It kind of just looks like he's like skipping across the ground, essentially. Now in my brain, I'm picturing that the body is actually like twisting, even though it's not actually moving. Oh, weird. It's now 3 a.m. I've been going for about an hour and a half. I might actually just call it here. And my last, and I'll make one more little sticky note. Study S player or strip 4, I think is what the file was called. This guy has so many. He has dead strip. He has enemy running strip. He has enemy bullets. He has regular bullets. He has gun and gun. I wonder what the difference is. Like, he has gun and gun 1, which makes me wonder what it is. He has a hit spark. His background. Oh, all of his tiles. God. That's a lot of fucking tiles. Like, what is this? I've got to figure out what all this is about, and I really, really hope I don't have to do... I have concern. Anyways, strip 4. There we go. 4. Walking. Good. All right. I think that will do. More questions? Realistically, I didn't get any farther than the last time I tried to go through these tutorials, but I have a lot more information, a lot more talking out loudness, and things to think about. More things to think about, which probably isn't good if I'm getting more questions than answers. But that being said, I will try to post this as a dev journal. Probably make it, throw it to a YouTube somewhere. To anyone that may end up watching this in the future, or anyone watching right now, thank you so much. If you like what you've seen, or at least you're curious where the hell it's going to end up, make sure to subscribe if you're over on YouTube, or drop a follow here on Twitch. Links will be down below. I'm going to be coming up with more documentation, more information on what I'm working on, so hopefully you'll stay tuned for that. And I will see you guys next time. It is currently like 3 in the morning. I need some sleep. All right. Bye-bye.